Peace, peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Hopefully, everybody is having a powerful and healthy, positive, productive, and efficient Tuesday. I'm gonna give y'all about 3 to 5 minutes to tap in with the kid before we start building on the subject matter for the day. What's the word? Let me know how y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Tuesday. Y'all see the subject matter, man. Y'all see the thumbnail and everything. We about to bring some things to the surface today that will probably cause some of you all to do further research. And that's how you should always do it. Magic, what's happening? What's the word? But yeah, we gonna go in. This ought to be a powerful stream. As always, we're gonna come with some information, some things to ponder on and to think about. So we're gonna tap in. Soul flow, peace, what's happening? We're gonna tap in. We're gonna continue to expose this war on black masculinity, this war on the black man, the agenda to feminize the black man. We gonna continue to expose this agenda because we got plenty of groups and plenty of people that swear up and down that this is no agenda and this never was an agenda. So we here to show and prove that it definitely was an agenda and it definitely still is an agenda. And we gonna give you some of the origins of it. You can't deny some of these things that we gonna bring to the surface. You can't deny that picture that I got in the thumbnail. We can't deny that. We can't deny that. What they trying to tell us. You know what I'm saying? So we can't, it's certain things you just can't deny. And a lot of folks are living in denial. You better understand that it's a war on that masculinity. You better understand it's still a war on that black man. As long as we still have black masculine men, it's going to be a war going on out here. Until they feminize each and every one of us, it's going to be a war going on. So as long as we got some strong black men out here, that still hold on to that mindset, it's going to be a war going on. Reaper, peace, what's happening? Mark, what's happening? Divine Departure, peace, what's happening? What's the word? So we got to understand what's happening. In order for us to understand at times, you got to break it down, give people the information and some of the origins so we can really see how some of this stuff originated, because that's when they broke down a lot of these agendas way back in the day. They was letting us know. I'm talking about some of our great grandparents back in their time. That's when they was letting everybody know what was going to happen 100 years from that day. So they put this stuff into motion way back when. They been knew how this thing was going to unfold. They been let us know. Come on now. Tony, peace, what's happening? Hey, and Reaper, for sure, you already know how that, how that melanin can do. You know how that melanin can do. But yeah, we gonna shine some light on some things, man. They've been striving to feminize us for a long time. They knew that this was gonna be a major part of the agenda. They knew that. You know what I'm saying? They knew how they was gonna go about it. They done been conducting experiments for a very long time, and we have been the guinea pigs of their experiments for a very long time. Trust and believe. Akuma, peace, what's happening? Trust and believe. So never, never think that you are safe as a black man, especially when you stand true to self and you have knowledge of self as a black man. You are never safe. I don't want to hear none of that. You never safe. You are public enemy number one to this system when you are a black man with knowledge of yourself, and you will not compromise your principles and integrity. Public enemy number one. So we cannot afford to let our guards down and think everything is cool when we walking around like that, because it is not. Tony, for sure, 100%. We all know that Tuskegee experiment. Matter of fact, they say the dude that wrote They Clone Tyrone was inspired by the Tuskegee experiment. That's one of the well-known mainstream experiments. We got a bunch of underground experiments that we done been a part of, that we are currently a part of, that we might not even be knowledgeable about. You know, but straight up, the Tuskegee is one of the ones that they threw in our faces and knew what was gonna happen, knew that we was still gonna trust them. We were still gonna go to these doctors. We was gonna still trust their expertise and advice. Come on now. I mean, they threw it right in our faces. Let us know. Let us know. Withheld info. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Tuskegee experiment is crazy. You know, that when you really do the knowledge, I got a whole book behind me called Bad Blood, and it breaks down the Tuskegee experiment, you know. Breaks it down. Breaks it down. Yeah, Mark, for sure. Yeah, for sure. If you think you're safe, you definitely comfortable. You know, and as a black man, unfortunately, especially the ones with knowledge of self, we can't afford to really kick our feet up and get comfortable. Nah, can't do that. Virgil, yeah, and exactly. And a lot of times when I speak on the agenda to feminize the black man, I really hope that a lot of sisters tap in, you know, and really consume the message and let it digest. Because like you said, a lot of times they don't really understand what's happening. They don't understand what's happening to us and how it's more of an attack on us than it is them. They are definitely getting attacked, but the focus is more on the black man because it has to be that way, you know, because again, they viewing this through a war lens, you know, so the biggest threat to their existence is us, not them, you know, so they gonna focus in on us a lot more, a lot harder, a lot heavier, you know, straight up. So when I reveal these agendas and talk about these things, then I love it when the sisters come in and they consume it and let it digest so they can gain a better understanding of this war that's going on that's primarily targeted towards us. You know, they know if they could get us in that certain state, it's over with. Everything starts with getting that black man in a certain state, then they know the nation and everything will follow suit. You know, so they got to get the black man to be in that certain state. You know, they got to decrease our testosterone levels and raise the estrogen within us, making us softer. Like, this is stuff that can actually happen. You know, they tampering with the hormone levels, man. That's why we gonna get into that. I'm getting ahead of myself. Clocks in, what's happening? Hey, Divine, man. I recommend books on a daily basis. Every time I stream. Hey, so just tap into the stream. I'm gonna recommend a book every time. But I'm gonna gather a list for everybody one of these days, man, when I stop procrastinating. One of these days when I stop procrastinating. Miss Naya, what's happening? Antonio, my brother, peace, what's happening? But yeah, we gonna tap in and reveal some things. It's gonna get a little crazy what we about to reveal. Now I want to share my screen real quick. I want to share my screen with y'all real quick. Y'all see the picture on the thumbnail, but we gonna go ahead and really break this picture down. We're gonna break it down. So let me share this screen real quick with y'all, man. Hold up. Let me share this screen. So let me share this screen. All right, hold on. Okay, boom. Y'all see it. Here we go. And shout out to our good brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. You know, I grabbed this up out of his book as part of the research, The Pot Plot, you know, Understanding the Assault on the Black Man. That's volume 2. I got volumes 1 and 2 of that book, or these books. So, you know, they some great reads, man. If you're a black man, you definitely need to cop both volumes. Understanding the Assault on the Black Man, volume 1 and volume 2. But this is out of volume 2. You know, and here's the picture that I placed in the thumbnail. This is literally, it's crazy. And I just read, matter of fact, I'll read the first part so y'all can get a backstory of this picture. Because I didn't post it in the thumbnail, I wrote it in the description, but I'll read it for y'all. On November 30th, 1910, this 1910, fam, It's over 100 years ago. 1910. This was in 1910. This is crazy. But on November 30th, 1910, the New York Evening World published a social commentary by renowned cartoonist Maurice Ketten, real name Prosper, I guess, Fiorini, entitled Man and Woman, as they were, as they are, as they will be. This cartoon commentary drew from the writings of American painter John White Alexander. In the 3 panels, the past, present, and future of biological and cultural gender are represented. Now let's break this joint down. We see the first picture, right? As they were. As they were, how does the man look? The man looks real masculine, right? This is as they were. The first panel, so to speak. As they were, we look like we got the man and the woman in their natural roles. The man looks strong. The man looks masculine. The woman looks delicate. She looks feminine. So as they were is the correct representation. It's the natural way that it should be. It's the natural order of things. That's how panel 1 looks. That's the depiction of panel 1. Panel 2, as they are. Now let's look at the difference here. It looks like the man and woman are reflections of one another. It's like they mirror each other as they are. It looked like they mirror each other, like they are mere reflections of one another. They are looking essentially the same. They have on different clothing, but it's like the clothing is fitting the exact same way. So as they are, it's like we are mere reflections or mirrors of one another. That's what as they are is depicting. As they will be. Let's look at the difference here. As they will be, it's a total reversal of the role. Now the woman, big, strong. Now look at the man. Look at the man on as they will be. Look at that. Look at that man. Got the same fan on they got the same fan that she had in this original picture that the woman had in the original picture, or the first panel, I should say. So look at it. As they will be, they then took the fan from the woman as they were and gave it to the man. Look how them clothes is fitting. Look how them clothes is fitting. Look at that woman. This is as they will be. Now this was conducted in 1910, fam. 1910. That was what, 113 years ago. Literally letting you know what's about to go down. As they will be. We can't make this up, man. Why in 1910 are they painting stuff like this? And you know what's funny about it? Y'all want to know what's really funny about this? I'm gonna give y'all some homework. Y'all know the funny thing about it. Notice how I had to share this picture. I had to send this to myself via an email. I had to grab it out of a book and I had to send it to myself via email. Why would I have to do such a thing? Because when you try to Google this picture, you will not be able to find it. When you type in Man and Woman by Maurice Ketten, type it in on Google. I promise you will find every painting, every cartoon that he has conducted, that he wrote and drew, other than this one. I literally was finding every other picture but this one. I could not find this one online, as if this doesn't exist. So I had to grab it out the book. I had to take a picture of it with my phone, and I had to send it to myself via an email. That's the only way I was able to get this picture and share it. I was not able to Google search this picture and find it, but I found all the other pictures though. So when you type in this exact article, you type in the article, the author of the article on Google, you will not find this picture. At least I did. I wasn't able to find it. So I had to grab it this way. So that lets you know right there. That lets you know. See, if this wasn't an agenda, Why are they suppressing this picture? Why can't I just read about this picture and then go pick it up on Google? Just search it in and it pops up. Why is that not happening? Matter of fact, since we sharing screens, I can do that. I can do that. Y'all see this image right here. Y'all see it. Man and Woman by Maurice Ketten. Y'all see this image right here. Y'all see this picture. Now, let's go ahead and try to Google search it. Let's try to Google search it real quick. Let me pull up Google. Matter of fact, hold up. Let's type this in on Google, and then I'm going to bring up the screen. I'm going to bring up the screen here. Let me go ahead and let me pull it up. Mystical peace, what's happening, everybody that's just tapping in, man? I'm in the middle of this build, so I ain't able to greet people. But let me go ahead and bring this screen back. Y'all seen the picture that I was just sharing. Now, let's type that same picture. Let's type that same name. Let's type the name of the picture and that article into Google and see what we come up with. See what we come up with. Boom. Here we go. Y'all see it. There we go. I type it in now. Man and woman, as they look at it, as they are. Maurice Ketten. Where's the image? Why is this not the first image that popped up? Why? Look at it. Everything but that picture is popping up. Everything but that picture. I cannot find that picture. Crazy. Y'all see it. These are all the images that's associated with this name. None of these images are the image that I pulled from this book. That's letting you know what's going on. None of the images. None of them. Y'all see this? I can't make this up. Y'all see it. Clicking on every image. None of these images reflect that image that I just showed y'all or the image that y'all see on the thumbnail. Now, why can't I just type that in and it pops up? None of these images. What does that tell you? Come on now. What does that tell you? They playing with us, man. They playing with us. They playing with us. They playing with us. Kill, what's happening? Big Phil, Shakira, peace, what's happening? Peace to everybody that's tapping in. They playing with us. They playing. Y'all see that picture on the thumbnail. When I go to type that picture in on Google, and y'all can do the same thing when you go type it in on Google and you go to the images, you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. Why I can't find an image that's letting us know basically the role's going to reverse? Why can't we find that image, man? They playing a game with us. It's part of the agenda. You know, so they put it in plain sight in 1910, but now they got to suppress it. Now, they can't allow us to dig that up and bring it to the surface in 2023. We can't let that happen. So it's like they removed that, you know, they removed it from the archives. You cannot find that picture. That's crazy. That's crazy. And the funny thing about that, the ironic thing about when that social commentary was presented to the media, that image that y'all saw, the image that's on the thumbnail, that was constructed in it was constructed and presented in 1910. The interesting thing about that, also in 1910, what they did a literal experiments on literal guinea pigs. They did experiments on literal guinea pigs, basically changing the sex of the guinea pigs. You know, chopping the testes off of the male guinea pig, placing them on the female guinea pig, and vice versa. So they did sex change experiments basically on literal guinea pigs in 1910. And they found that over time, it wasn't a drastic change, but they found that over time, the characteristics and the behaviors of these guinea pigs changed. Meaning, over time, the male guinea pig, once they cut off the testes and put it on the female and vice versa, over time, the male guinea pig started to slowly act like and become like the female guinea pig. So adopted more feminine characteristics. Renata, Maurice Ketten. Maurice Ketten. Type in man and woman, Maurice Ketten. Man and woman, Maurice Ketten. Type that in. That's the name of that article. That's the name of the article that depiction is in. That portrait is in. Whatever you want to call it. That's the name of the article. Silence exact. Thank you. So I'm not tripping. See, so people start to think we tripping out here. So y'all typing in that same thing. That's why I had to make sure I showed y'all the original picture. Because if I just talked about this, then y'all would think that I'm tripping. Y'all would think I was tripping, like, man, there ain't no picture like that. That's why I put the picture on the thumbnail. That's why I showed y'all the picture on this screen. Y'all see that picture. When you go look it up, you cannot find the picture. But I also want to read from our good brother, Dr. Wesley Muhammad's book, to let y'all know about the experiment that I just mentioned. Let's go. Let's tap in. Let's tap in. We're going to talk about 1910. We're going to talk about 1910, the same year that they showed y'all how the roles going to reverse. Let's talk about what else was happening in the year 1910. I'm going to read this, and y'all just follow along with me, because I'm probably finna mess up some of these dudes' names, but it is what it is. All right, let's start. Let's read it. What is of utmost importance is that in the very year this prediction was made, 1910, the science necessary to make this prediction a reality emerged. The scientist responsible for this science was Dr. Eugene Steinach, director of the Biological Institute of the Academy of Sciences in Vienna and one of the leading endocrine researchers of the early 20th century. Eugene Steinach was born in 1861 to prominent Jewish parents in the city of Hohenems in the Austrian province of Vorarlberg. Steinach is arguably the grandfather of the testosterone conspiracy and the estrogen assault. With his student, closest colleague, and fellow Jew, Heinrich Kuhn, these two are the Batman and Robin of the research and experimentation phase of the testosterone conspiracy and the estrogen assault. Steinach's endocrinological work between 1910 and 1930 showed that gender and sexuality were chemically manipulable. Come on now. During these 2 decades of sophisticated laboratory investigation of sex gland function, Steinach's experiments challenged fundamental ideas about masculinity and femininity, indicating that although biological sex might be determined by genetic factors, the characteristics of sex, anatomical and behavioral, could always be modified by manipulating the hormone levels. Antonio, yes, for sure. But let me reread that. During these 2 decades of sophisticated laboratory investigation of sex gland function, Steinach's experiments challenged fundamental ideas about masculinity and femininity, indicating that although biological sex might be determined by genetic factors, the characteristics of sex, anatomical and behavioral, could always be modified by manipulating the hormone levels. The results of these experiments were published in 1910 and justly caused a revolution in the views held by scientists in regard to the relation between the sex glands and the secondary sex characteristics. Now let's keep it going. Steinach established that growth into a sexually active male depended on chemicals secreted from the testicles, what we now know as testosterone. And he established that it is black males who possess the greatest amount of this testicular chemical or juice of the testicles. Let's go back. Steinach established that growth into a sexually active male depended on chemicals secreted from the testicles, what we now know as testosterone. And he established that it is black males who possess the greatest amount of this testicular chemical or juice of the testicles. So the white scientists then admitted that it is black men who contain the highest amount of testosterone. So this is why they created the war. They started studying us and they realized we have higher levels of testosterone than they do. That's very important for y'all to remember that. Steinach further pioneered the surgical procedure of castrating an infant male guinea pig and transplanting ovaries into it and removing the ovaries of female guinea pigs while transplanting the testes. This produced revolutionary results, the successful reversal of the sex of these experimental animals. When Steinach transferred ovaries and testes in guinea pigs a few days old, he found that through these glands, the character of each sex underwent a slow but radical transformation over toward the other, causing, hey man, listen, what Steinach discovered was the role that hormones played in controlling the development of secondary sexual characteristics and how much control that gives scientists to manipulate gender and sexuality. Come on now. Come on now. What Steinach discovered was the role that hormones played in controlling, keyword, the development of secondary sexual characteristics and how much control, again, that gives scientists to manipulate, keyword again, gender and sexuality. And of course, the main scientific aim of these researches on animals was to gain insight into the corresponding conditions in human beings. So let's break this down. Experiments in which infant males were castrated, thus denied testosterone, and given ovaries, thus being exposed to estrogen, and overactimized infant females denied estrogen, were given testes, thus exposed to testosterone, showed that males develop female accessory sexual morphology, function in milk glands, and behave like females as adults. Let's reread that. Let's reread that. Let's reread that. Experiments in which infant males were castrated, thus denied testosterone, and given ovaries, thus being exposed to estrogen, and overactimized infant females denied estrogen, were given testes, thus exposed to testosterone. It showed that males developed female accessory sexual morphology, function in milk glands, and behave like females as adults, while females develop morphological characteristics of males and behave like males as adults. These striking results established Steinach as a pioneer in mammalian reproductive endocrinology and sexual development. Steinach had demonstrated that sexuality was flexible. In the early years, his most striking demonstration of the developmental flexibility of sexuality was the creation. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Changes in hormones could produce varying blends of masculinity and femininity in the same individual. Like, are we paying attention to what's really happening here? The experiment. Come on, fam. Let me read that first. Experiments in which infant males were castrated, thus denied the testosterone, and given ovaries, thus being exposed to estrogen. It's the key, being exposed to estrogen. And overactimized infant females denied estrogen and were given testes, thus being exposed to testosterone. Showed that males develop female accessory sexual morphology and behave like females as adults. So if you expose the young man, the young boy, to estrogen early on in his developmental stages, he will take on the characteristics of the female as he becomes an adult, and vice versa for the female. And I saw somebody asking about the name of the book. Here it is right here. The Pot Plot. Understanding the Assault on the Black Man, Volume 2, The Pot Plot, Marijuana, Hip Hop, and a Scientific Assault on Black America, Wesley Muhammad. Shout out to good brother Wesley Muhammad. Like, are y'all understanding the science that's going on here? How they experimented with the babies, fam. They experimented with the black babies. Notice, like, they experimented with the black babies. It went from the guinea pigs to let's see how this works on humans. Let's experiment with the infants. Let's castrate the infant boy. Let's castrate the infant boy. Let's insert the ovaries in the infant boy, and let's see how he develops and responds. So they took this experiment from the guinea pig over to the infants. Come on now. They understood early that you could manipulate the hormones. They understood this early. If we manipulate these hormones, we can get these boys to grow up and act like the women, and we could get these young girls to grow up and act like the men. So they let you know what they was going to do, and then they did it. They conducted the experiments to show and prove. This is how we going to do it. This is how we going to do it. They let you know, let's conduct these experiments, and then let's go ahead and do it. They know that if you expose that young boy to all this estrogen, it will have a tremendous influence on how he will turn out. So for all of you individuals that want to swear up and down that there is no agenda, for all of you individuals that want to swear up and down that them showing all of this homosexual activity on the television screen has no impact, you are sadly mistaken. They are doing this intentionally. They are trying to put this stuff in schools intentionally. They know the earlier they can instill this in the young men and the young women, the better their chances are of having them grow up and act like women and the women act like the men. Silencer, the scientist, his name was Eugene Steinach. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think it was Steinauch. Eugene Steinach. So for all of you individuals, I almost want to debate these individuals that swear up and down there is no agenda. Like, how can you sit down today and just pay attention to what's going on? Be tapped into the media, even the slightest bit. How can you be tapped in? How can you be tapped into what's going on and deny that there is an agenda going on? Like, how can you watch anything and be like, nah, it ain't no agenda going on. Like, this is just life. Like, how can you not see? Well, I can answer that question. You know, it's rhetorical. But man, how you not see that a lot of this is intentionally placed in front of us? Like, that's funny to me. Like, I ain't even gonna say I would be curious to hear some of their responses, because I probably don't want to hear that. You know, but that's crazy to me. Man, how you watching this stuff and be like, nah, it ain't no agenda going on. It ain't no agenda to pacify the black man. It ain't no agenda to feminize the black man. And literally everything that you tap into. Everything you tap into. 80 to 90% of what you tap into, how do they strive to make the black man look, and how do they strive to make the black woman look? 80 to 90% of what you would tap into. If you go throw on a modern day movie or a modern day show, 80 to 90% of the time, how are they going to depict the black man and how are they going to depict the black woman? 80 to 90% of the time. 80 to 90% of the time, it's going to be the same type of depiction. Like straight up. And folks are in denial. Like they got us. This is part of the chemicals and all that type of stuff that they placing in the food. Matter of fact, man, the science even gets deeper to the point where even in this book, Wesley Muhammad talks about, the amygdala, and how that's responsible for us. It's like the threat processing center of the brain, the amygdala, like the threat processing center of the brain. That portion of the brain gives us the ability to perceive a threat. You know what I'm saying? So it gives us the ability to see something and say, well, hey, that's a threat. And now we can act on that perceived threat. So in this book, he even talks about how they have given us certain drugs and how there are certain chemicals that affect the amygdala, the threat processing center of the brain. So that shuts down the threat processing center of the brain. So we can be around a threat, but we don't perceive the threat because that portion of the brain is shut off due to the chemicals and the drugs. So that's why the black man is literally surrounded by the enemy and we don't perceive any type of threat because that portion of the brain, for the most part, is shut off. So we are around the enemy. We living on the enemy streets in the enemy's neighborhoods, but we don't perceive the enemy as such because they have shut off that portion of our brains. So we are around the threat, but we don't perceive the threat as a threat because that portion of the brain is shut off because of the drugs, because of the chemicals that they are placing in the food. And those chemicals also lower the testosterone levels. So it's literally, it's chemical warfare, man. Because we know what testosterone does, we men. The more testosterone we got, the more we gonna challenge authority. Like that's the warrior hormone. That's why men can play football. That's why we play contact sports. That's why we in the front line. That's why we go to war. It's testosterone. That's why we are physical. That's why we have to get up. That's why we can't sit down in schools. That's why they diagnose us with ADHD, misdiagnose us, I should say, with ADHD, because we have testosterone. It's not naturally designed for us to sit down in the school system for 6-8 hours and learn. We got to get up. So the more testosterone we have, the more powerful we are. They call it the power hormone. Like straight up, that's what they call it. And black men naturally have more testosterone than white men. So with that fact being understood, if they perceiving us as a threat and they understand that it's war, then one thing they must do is decrease the testosterone in the black man. They have to do that. And that's exactly what they have done. That's exactly what they have done. So for real, man, it's serious out here, man. It's serious out here. When you looking around, like when some of you sisters looking around and like, man, why black men ain't doing this, that, and the third? Man, because it's chemical warfare on the black man, like literally. Just like y'all talk about y'all hormones during it, y'all ain't the only women. Y'all are not the only ones with hormones. Fam, I don't know. For some reason, women think they are the only ones with hormones. Y'all are not. Testosterone is also a hormone. Chemical messengers. You know what I'm saying? That's what hormones are. We are filled with the hormones, fam. So just like y'all hormones can get out of whack, our hormones are out of whack as well. And this was intentionally designed for it to be that way. Intentionally designed, fam. Y'all ain't the only ones with hormones. Y'all ain't the only ones with hormones that are out of whack. The black man's hormones collectively are out of whack. The testosterone levels ain't as high as they should be naturally. Like, come on. Like straight up, this is chemical warfare, man. Chemical. Chemical warfare, man. They putting these chemicals in the food for a reason. They tamper with the quality of crops in certain areas for a reason, fam. Like, for a reason. When you go to certain grocery stores and things like that to get certain foods, the quality is terrible in a certain region or a certain part of the neighborhood or the city for a reason. When you go to the black side of town, they have lower quality foods in the grocery stores for a reason. They are pumping those foods with something different than when you go to the white side of town. It's different, fam. It's different. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this, fam. Everybody knows this. They doing this type of stuff for a reason. Big field for sure, man. I'm telling vitamin, and I'm glad you said vitamin deficiency. One of the vitamins, one of the most prevalent vitamins that's essential to testosterone is what vitamin? Vitamin D. Vitamin D. Now, who needs more vitamin D than any other group of people on the planet? Black folk. Vitamin D. Vitamin D, huh? What's the best source of vitamin D? The best source of vitamin D, the best way to get vitamin C is through the what? The sun. What was our natural climate? What's the natural climate that the original man and the original woman thrive in? Tropical climate. So what did they strive to do? They strive to take, they had to strive to take the black man and black woman out of their natural climate, place them in unnatural climates, and now our vitamin D levels are suffering, which by default or inevitably causes our testosterone levels to suffer as well. They got us living in a very unnatural world, and it's causing our vitamins, or the vitamins and minerals, causing us to have all type of deficiencies that we would normally have. That's why some people view vitamin D as more of a hormone and not an actual vitamin, because of its role in regards to the production of testosterone. Come on, now the science gets deep, man. That's why they took us out of that climate that we thrive in naturally. And they striving to get us to live a very unnatural way of life, very unnatural schedules that they got us adhering to. Man, you work in the graveyard shift, so they got you sleep during the day when you supposed to be out in the sun getting all this vitamin D. So they got you working overnight, so you can't even get the vitamin D that you need, because when it's daylight out here, you sleep. That's unnatural. That's not a natural schedule for no man. But my pops didn't have to work the third shift, the graveyard shift, for the longest, for his entire life. That ain't a natural schedule. That's not natural. It's not natural for no human to work overnight. It's not natural at all. It's not natural at all, man. So that's what I'm saying. This is where it gets deep on us, fam. You know, when that, like, we are creatures of the universe, fam. So like when the sun comes up, that's when we rise. We ain't live by no alarm clocks. We didn't live by no alarm clocks. Like, we rose with the sun, fam. Like when the sun, that was the alarm clock. It was the sun. When the sun came up, we woke up. When the sun went down, we went down. Our ancestors wasn't working overnight. They didn't do that. And we talking about the first. So our ancestors was the first people to exist here. So that was the first way of life. That was the first schedule. That was the first working schedule. We didn't do those shifts. We worked when the sun was out. When that sun went down, it was time to retire into the night. And again, since we talking about hormones, your body naturally adheres to that schedule with what two hormones? Serotonin, melatonin. Serotonin is released via light, the sun, aka. Melatonin is released at night. We all know what melatonin encourages you to do. People take melatonin when they have problems sleeping. Your body naturally produces this hormone or these two hormones. But since we are so out of whack, our bodies don't produce these hormones like they should. So now you got to take melatonin because you can't sleep because your body is out of whack. You might have to take things to boost your serotonin because your gut is out of whack. These are two natural hormones that the body produces. If we were living according to nature, you wouldn't have to take any we didn't have to take supplements. We didn't have to take vitamins back in the day. This is a fairly new creation. Now we have to take these things because we are living a very unnatural way of life. Like, seriously. That's one of the reasons why, that's the reason why we got to be taking certain supplements and vitamins. They got us living an unnatural way of life. Very unnatural way of life. Like, straight up. So now you got to take some of these supplements, fam, or else you're going to be all type of deficient. Depending on where you live. If you live where it tends to get cold during the cooler months, man, you got to take a vitamin D supplement almost. Fam, you almost have to, because it's almost impossible for you to get the vitamin D if you're in a certain climate. You know, so it's certain, they didn't constructed these schedules, they didn't constructed our lives to where it's like we gotta OD on these supplements and vitamins, man. This wasn't a way, man. We wasn't taking capsules like that back then. We was getting everything we needed from the earth, from the sun. We was getting everything we needed from nature, man. Nature had everything that we needed, and we didn't have to roll it up and put it in a capsule. We didn't have to ground it up and make it a powder and put it in a smoothie. We didn't have to do that. Like, come on, fam. We gotta understand what's really happening. Understand it's a war on your testosterone, and then for my sisters, it's a war on your estrogen. It's a war on your estrogen, fam. They increasing your testosterone levels and trying to increase our estrogen levels, fam. So we got to understand what's happening, man. Like I said, just like women, y'all have hormones, we contain hormones. Everybody contains hormones. And especially in the Black community, all of our hormones are out of whack tremendously. And that explains a lot of what you see in regards to the ways and actions of Black men, Black women, original men, original women, whatever you want to refer to us as. Come on now. Houston, man, that barley powder for sure. Hey, that barley powder been doing, it's been righteous by me. You know, been righteous. So we got it, man. We got to raise the testosterone levels. Man, there's plenty of brothers. You know how it's a lot of sisters that have fertility issues, a lot of Black women that have fertility issues, and how that goes under the radar, and a lot of people don't discuss it. Well, it's that same problem with Black men. You have a lot of Black men that have testosterone issues, low testosterone, and they have problems like erectile dysfunction. Like, man, this is a prominent problem in the Black male community, and nobody talks about it. For one, because a lot of Black men, like, that's embarrassing for you to come out and be like, man, I got low testosterone, I have erectile dysfunction. That's embarrassing. Ain't no brother finna volunteer that type of information. So it's like a silent situation that goes on because it's embarrassing, fam. You ain't finna just up and be like, yeah, man, I got low testosterone and I got erectile dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no brother finna really jump up and volunteer that type of information. But I promise y'all, it's a lot of brothers that have these issues. I promise y'all. You know, and for some of y'all women that, which I've heard some women joke about, dudes having problems getting it up, like that's really not even funny. That's the equivalent. That's almost like if we joke about y'all, about anybody having fertility issues. That's the equivalent. A man joking about fertility issues is the equivalent of a woman joking about a man not being able to get it up, because that's our fertility. If we can't get it up, we can't produce, we can't create a life. You know what I'm saying? If we can't get it up, we can't engage in the act that is responsible for life being created. So if we can't get it up, like that's our life, like that's us engaging in a process that brings life into existence. So that's the equivalent. So that's nothing to joke about. So sisters, if you have a brother, if you with a brother and he has a problem getting it up, it's not funny. He's having a blood flow issue. He's having a blood flow issue. His testosterone might be low. So instead of you clowning that brother to your friends and to his face, you might want to get him to look into that. Like for real. So don't joke about that, because you would not want to joke about, you wouldn't want a brother joking to you about fertility issues. If you having fertility problems, you wouldn't want a brother joking with you about that. You don't want a brother be like, you know, I shot up at her several times, but she can't give me no baby. Something must be wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't really, that's not a joke, fam. So when a brother can't get it up, when a brother's having erectile dysfunction, he's having testosterone problems. More than likely, that is environmental due to what he is eating, drinking. Like, man, drinking a lot of alcohol can lead to these issues, fam. They even lacing certain, man, even, I ain't even getting into that, but Wesley Muhammad talks about them lacing certain strands of marijuana with some things that increase our estrogen levels. And I done heard some Rastas even talk about that. You know, I done heard some Rastas talk about certain strands of the marijuana being laced, you know what I'm saying, with some things that can increase the estrogen levels in men and decrease the testosterone, making them more docile and passive. Straight up. You know, so the erectile, different blood flow issues, man. If you consume it, we got the red meat got to go. The pork, all that's got to go. Obviously, the dairy products got to go. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff got to go. If you having these issues, the alcohol, you got to lay off of that. Got to lay off of that. Got to lay off of all of that. Anything processed, got to lay off of that, because you got to know and understand that they lacing that with these chemicals. And we talking blood flow, man. And you get the beetroots, you know what I'm saying, beet juices and all that, and you eating your greens, the watercress, the arugula, the spinach, all this type of good stuff, man, the cabbage, you eating all of that, you consuming your fruits, you're going to be good. You know, getting your omega-3s, chia seeds, hemp seeds, all that. Pumpkin seeds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, all these type, man, all this, man, come on. If you consume all of these foods that I'm mentioning, of course I'm missing some. You know, of course I'm not naming everything. I'm going to get you more so to focus on what you need to eliminate and stay away from. Definitely stay away from the alcohol. Definitely stay away from the red meat. And they are even lacing a lot of the fish. A lot of the fish contains estrogen. I heard something about the larger the fish is, the more estrogen it contains. So you got to watch the fish out here. They lacing a lot of the fish with the estrogen. And we already know it's certain soy products. You know, when they genetically modifying the soy, you definitely want to stay away from that. Definitely. Most definitely. So that's why I'm always pushing healthy eating, because I can tell you, for like, I don't have any blood flow issues, you know what I'm saying? And man, come on. And I consume predominantly greens. I'm predominantly raw. You know, I might eat cooked meals. Like right now, I drink smoothies all throughout the week. So that's pretty much all raw ingredients. I ain't put anything cooked in the smoothies. You know, and then on the weekend, that's when I would incorporate some cooked meals. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be predominantly raw. Predominantly raw. Terenzo for sure. You know, I don't eat fish in general. So I got everybody beat on that. I've been watching all the fish because I don't consume none of it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been off of that. I ain't the last time I had fish was 2009 or something when I graduated high school. I ain't consumed anything fish related in about 13, 14 years. You know, and I'm a build on some herbs. I got some herbs too, you know, that'll help some brothers with that issue. If you suffer from those issues, I'm working on another powder myself. Y'all know I got my liver joint, and I'm working on the green powder as well. You know, the green powder, that's the mega joint right there. You know, the green powders do almost everything for you. You know, so I'm creating my own batch of the green powder. So be on the lookout for that. Hey, Big Phil, hey, I'm already knowing. You know, just be mindful though. Just be mindful. Make sure you get the best quality meat possible. Best quality meat possible. I mean, I'm talking about the best quality meat possible. Don't be eating any other processed meat at all. And then I would say eat that every other day if you can afford to do that. You know? Divine, you say, do I take any vitamins? Nope. The only thing I take right now are herbs. And the only herb I'm taking right now, because I done ran out of my other herbs, was it Gotu Kola? GOTUKOLA. That's good for the brain. That's good for the skin. So that's the one I'm taking now because I ran out of my other ones. So I normally add turmeric, black pepper, boom. Something that's called Ryodola, I believe. And then milk thistle. And I also got this other one too. Ironically, I got this white dude on it, but man, it's a lot of herbs on it. This Dr. Christopher's Complete Tissue and Bone. You know what I'm saying? This joint been actually working pretty well for me, man. I've noticed some changes. And then I take passion flower extract a little bit because your boy be having all type of insomnia. You know what I'm saying? So this passion flower extract, I just take that for sleep purposes. Yeah, colloidal silver. Yeah, I normally have that on me. You know, chlorophyll. Man, I'll be having everything on me. Chlorophyll, the barley, and I'll be having some everything on me, man. Ain't no telling. But that's some of the herbs I've been taking here lately, though. So I just be on the herb kick. I don't necessarily take any vitamins because I've constructed my regimen in a way to where I should be getting everything that I need. You know, I got the blackstrap molasses for the iron, for the potassium, calcium. You know, they lace. So I got to get it where I fit in. You know, they lace some of the oat milks with B12 and vitamin D. So I got to get it where I fit in. You know, sometimes I eat to get things from it. That might not be the best thing to consume at the time, but it got something that I need. So I get it like that. You know, so I got the deep, and then I use nutritional yeast for the B12 also. You know, and like I say, those milks are also strapped with a little bit of calcium for you. And then I got sesame seeds and all that for that. So I pretty much like all of the vitamins and minerals and things like that folks be worried about getting. I made sure the ingredients in my smoothies like contained all of these vitamins and minerals. You know, straight up, you know, so I think I'm well taken care of in the vitamin department. Then I got sunflower butter for vitamin E, things like that. Like all the vitamins, I went down the list of vitamins and minerals, and I was picking the top foods from each, you know, and I made sure I just keep incorporating those in my daily regimen. So I got it down to a science. You know, so I don't really need to take any vitamins. Because when I be making some power smoothies and I be drinking 3 of those throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be loaded. Yeah, valerian root is good, along with the melatonin. But it don't even like the insomnia issue is more so me just always wanting to work, you know. So I be wanting to put in some work, you know. I be wanting to type up some stuff, man. So I always been like that. And plus, I was also studying sleep. I think this book, I think it's called Nocturnal Brain, and it talks about I don't know if it's the circadian rhythm, but basically, I think it's the circadian rhythm and just how our clocks can be off. You know, it's like the body has a natural way that it wants to operate as far as sleeping and waking. But over time, when you deviate from that natural rhythm, like the clock can be off. You know what I'm saying? So it can cause your sleep cycle to be off. You know, and I started studying that, and I realized that's kind of what happened to me. My sleep cycle was off for a long time back in the day. You know, I was almost on some third shift type of time. So like then my sleep cycle became a little off, and I never quite adapted and adjusted. You know, so I'm wired to kind of be up at night versus sleeping. You know, I'm wired to be up at night versus during the day. You know, and I was studying that book, The Nocturnal Brain, amongst other books, and they talked about how that your sleep pattern can be off, you know, biologically. Like this is an actual biological event here. You know, so you have people like that always, you see them just always dozing off, you know, back in school, you always dozing off and things like that. Like it's an actual biological, physiological issue that's going on with the internal clock. Yeah, it's some actual deep science behind that. And I was studying that and I realized I had that same situation going on. You know, so it's like yo, yeah, when that clock was off, your body interpreting things a little bit differently. As far as like night and day. And that's just how I used to be. I used to be wired like that heavy. Now it got better now. I can go to sleep now during the night, but back in the day, like I'm staying up. Like my biological clock was stay up at night. Then during the day, that's when you sleep. You know, so my clock was off, which is again a hormonal imbalance. It's a hormonal imbalance. Like straight up. Hold on, Divine. What you say? How do you know what your body needs and how much to take? What if you're good on certain areas and only need 1 or 2 things? Oh, yeah. So, all right, I'm gonna do some breakdowns because there are certain symptoms to look for in regards to each deficiency. Like, I'm gonna just give prime like an iron deficiency. Like if the iron is too low, like you had that, like your feet would be cold. You know what I'm saying? If you be having cold feet consistently, you might have low iron. You know, it's things like that you got to really be paying attention to. Like your body will let you know when you are deficient in certain vitamins and minerals. Obviously, like if your calcium, magnesium, all of that is low, your bones will suffer. You know, sometimes when you hear your bones cracking, like you might have a calcium, magnesium, vitamin D deficiency, which is causing your body not to process the collagen how it should. You know, so that might be why your bones making this noise every time you squat down or something like that. You know, you might have to get your magnesium, calcium, vitamin D up. So like your body will talk to you. Your body will let you know. But I definitely like vitamin B12, a good sign of that. Like a lot of people that suffer from fatigue, your B12 might be low, you know, but fatigue is connected to a lot of other vitamins, man. But for the most part, a lot of people suffer from fatigue, and it's a B12 deficiency. You know, so It just depends on, like, vitamin A. Like, my vision, I've been having to wear glasses since I was 15, 16. Well, vitamin A deficiency can lead to vision problems. You know what I'm saying? So if you having vision problems, you know what I'm saying? If your vision all of a sudden declining, then you lacking vitamin A. Back then, nobody knew that. I didn't know that. My parents didn't know that. So we go get glasses. We didn't know, hey, why is he 15, 16? His vision is declining. We thinking stuff is natural and normal. Well, that means I need more vitamin A. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you would know your skin is all bad. Man, you might be having you might have vitamin E deficiency. Vitamin E is great for the skin. You know what I'm saying? So, like, these are things to look out for. And I forgot another vitamin for the bones too, vitamin K. That's also for the bones, man. So it's a lot of vitamins and minerals that's dedicated to the bone health. You know, so it's just certain things you got to tap into. Your body gonna let you know. You know, but the problem is, like I said, we don't know when the body is speaking to us. We don't know what certain symptoms indicate. We don't know that, oh, vision problems, vitamin A, fatigue. Let me see if I need to get my B12 up. Let me try that. And this is the good way to know. If you are tired all the time and you start taking the B12 supplement, they say the liquid form is the best way outside of getting it injected in you. You know what I'm saying? So if you just take a liquid B12 supplement and then over about, I say 2 months or so, you start to notice a gradual increase in your energy levels, then you will be B12 deficient. If not, then you might need to try with vitamin D and see if that boosts your energy. If your immune system is compromised, you keep getting sick, that's a vitamin C deficiency. So literally, your body has a response to every deficiency and access. So you can, just like you could be deficient, you can have too much of something. You can have too much iron, you can have iron overload. You know what I'm saying? Like you get the pins and needles feeling in your hands. Hey, you might be an overload in the iron. You know what I'm saying? So you can have deficiency, you can have access. So be mindful of that. Divine departure. It's crazy that you mentioned that. I just was sending a client some herbs on that, because that could be pertaining to hot flash. I got a client that's just experiencing menopause. So she got the hot flashes. So black cohosh is a good herb for that. And it's a herb called Vitex berry. Vitex berry, black cohosh. Those are 2 herbs to get that will help that feeling of hot all the time. You know what I'm saying? Those are 2 herbs to get. Vitex berry, black cohosh. Those are 2 herbs to get. 2 herbs to get right there. I literally just gave that recommendation to a client of mine that just started undergoing menopause. So that black cohosh and the Vitex berry. Again, you go to the doctor or something with that, we already know that what they'll tell you. We already know how that situation to go. You know, and they act like it's crazy. They be like, ah, man, black men don't go to the doctor, whoop-de-whoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done been experimented on for too long. Like, we don't just not go to the doctors to flat out neglect our health. That's not why. When you see, instead of bashing black men, gaining understanding of why we make the decisions that we make. So instead of saying, oh, y'all black men don't never go to the doctor, well, gain an understanding of why. When your people have been experimented on year after year, you have this unconscious hesitation to go to the doctor and deal with these folks. You do not trust them. It is this unconscious distrust that we have of doctors, which y'all should have them too. Because we not going to speak on what they did to y'all during giving birth and pregnancy and all of that. You know, but that's where that distrust, it comes from. But we all know they treated the sisters a little bit better than they treat us. So our distrust, our hatred gonna run a little bit deeper. Gonna be a tad bit deeper. So we tired of being experimented on. We tired of being lied to. We gonna go to the doctor for one thing and they tell us nothing is wrong with us and give us some type of antibiotic, which does absolutely nothing but destroy us even more. You know, so we didn't try. A lot of us tried to be honest with the doctors and we didn't get a thorough diagnosis. I didn't personally experience that. And I didn't watch family members, male family members, personally experience that. Go to the doctor for one thing, come out there, they tell you nothing wrong with you. 6 months later, you got cancer. Like, fam. Like, how I just go to you and say something is wrong. Like, man, I'm losing weight. This ain't normal. This ain't right. Like, my body hurting for no reason. And you tell me I got is muscle spasms. And you give me muscle relaxers. And then I come back to you months later and now I got full-blown cancer and I got a few months to live. Where was that cancer at 6 months ago? The cancer was still there, man. You just did not care about the black man enough. And that's straight up. You didn't care about the black man enough. Like, man, he up here complaining about his back hurting and him losing weight. Give him some muscle relaxers. He'll be all right. Then when it's pretty much too late in everybody else's eyes, now you want to say the person had the cancer 6 months when they came 6 months ago when they came and saw you. You did not take the black man seriously enough to further investigate his issues, his complaints. You just wanted to get him up out of there and diagnose him with some nonsense. Plus, y'all make a lot of money out of cancer patients. So I done seen this happen way too much. Way too much. I done seen the black man try to go up in that joint. Like, man, I'm having problems sleeping. For 10 years, somebody going into the doctor. Man, I'm having problems sleeping. The whoop-de-woo. Why I wake up and I feel extra tired. It took 10, 12 years for somebody to finally figure out that sleep apnea. This is stuff I didn't see. You done been going to this doctor saying, man, every time I wake up, you know, I feel like I ain't get a good night's sleep. I'm snoring, whoop-de-whoop. I could have diagnosed that as sleep apnea as soon as I heard it. Why it take 12 years for this person to get diagnosed with sleep apnea? Man, in that time, person could have died, fam. I done seen this. After that happens too many times, we no longer start to trust the doctor. Why would I trust that, fam? I'm going to you, I'm telling you what the problems are, and you ain't taking it seriously enough. I get diagnosed with the real issue 12 years later. Man, I could have died, fam. I could have died. And some of these men are dying. They are dropping dead. Some of these young bulls are dropping dead. But that's a whole other ball game. We know why they dropping dead, but it's happening out here. Moshe, man, I done heard that story so many times, man. I done heard folks going to get routine checkups and somehow ending up getting a surgery and then somehow ending up with a blood clot and then somehow ending up dying. I done heard all these type of stories, man. Routine checkup, nothing really wrong. Y'all want to do some random surgery, and then next thing you know, blood clot, and then the person died. They was just healthy a week ago, then they really got this operation, and they got a blood clot, and they didn't die. And then somehow it's that person's fault. Man, I didn't seen all of this, man. I didn't seen and heard all of this. I didn't heard all these stories. These are real life stories that I'm bringing to the surface. Of course, I ain't gonna disclose any names, but these are real life stories, man. Real life. And so y'all wonder why we don't just volunteer to go to these doctors all the time. Y'all wonder why. You know, we don't have the best history with the medical institute. We don't have the best history with that institution, with that industry. We don't have the best industry. The best history. We don't have it. So a lot of us, we take it upon ourselves to make sure we are doing what's right and exact and what's necessary, because we know that we can't depend on them. You know, you are the best healthcare system for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the first healthcare system. It's yourself. That's the only healthcare system, man. You gotta make sure you take care of yourself. Gotta be your own healthcare. Like, straight up. Straight up, man. You gotta be your own healthcare, man. You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta study and examine the body. And every time that it speaks to you, you have to take notes and you have to take action, because your body will let you know any and everything that you need to know. We just got to understand what the symptoms mean. You know, we got to understand what these symptoms mean. But shout out to everybody that just tapped in. Y'all know I'm always tapping in, doing business and all that. You know, I got to send messages to folk. But yeah, Divine, also too, consume a lot of watermelon, because that has a natural cooling effect on the body. Coconut water, peppermint. I know bananas and avocados are good too. And we could even go to like our Eastern, like, you know, some of that Eastern knowledge when they tell us to eat warming foods and cooling foods, you know, and they break down the body in certain types. Like, when your body is overheated like that, then you need to balance it out with cooling foods. You know, make more smoothies with like frozen fruit. You know, so you got to start doing things like that. Consume the natural cooling foods. You know, like I said, like the watermelon, the avocados, drinking the coconut water, things like that. Making cold smoothies. You know, so when your body is overheating like that, then you need to adopt a more cooling food type of diet, so to speak. Divine, yeah, cucumbers are also good for that. You know, start juicing that cucumber too. You know, that juicing and blending sometimes be releasing certain enzymes, you know, that we can't tap into by strictly eating them. You know, so start juicing them joints as well. Juicing and blending and all that, chopping that joint up releases a lot of enzymes. Chaos Rain for sure. You already know. We got plenty more of that came from. We gonna tap in across the board. But with that being said, man, I gotta make this move. I can't lose track of time this time. So I gotta tap on out. Hey, Divine, for sure. I gotta tap out though. I gotta head back to this gym, get myself together before I head out to this gym. You know, so I'm gonna let y'all get back to enjoying y'all wonderful Tuesday. You know, hopefully y'all took some jewels away from this particular streaming build. And hopefully y'all copped the book by good brother Wesley Muhammad before they ban this book. They probably gonna ban the book now if too many of y'all went and purchased it. But hey, it is what it is. We still got the book, we got the information. You know, so hopefully this encourages y'all to do further research and just self-evaluation, self-examination, and just examining the world around you so you can get hip to the agenda that's going on the black man and the black woman, you know, in the black community. You know, but with that being said, man, I'm out. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Tuesday. And I'm gonna try to tap in again with y'all one day this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, who knows? We on the road. But y'all be easy out here. Peace.